Hello, my name is Mike Ricciuto, and my company is Physical Therapy Now. We provide a lot of good tips for football personnel and players, and anybody who gets hurt. We do a good job of rehabilitating people. My focus today is to help the football players of Imani to perform better, and with that is with individual assessments. And so I had some of the Imani players come, and we did a quick assessment of their strength, their mobility, and to give them a few pointers before the season happens, so that number one, injuries don't happen as soon as they get into game time, and number two, that they can outperform their competitors. So any leg up is going to be a good thing when we're talking about physical flexibility and strength, endurance. So what I want to do today is achieve a couple different not only flexibility exercises but also strengthening exercises specifically for the players of Imani. So what we'll be doing is we'll be showing you some of the common flexibility and strengthening exercises that we've put together and given specifically to certain players. And so John's going to be my guinea pig here, and we're going to label these and then put them together specifically for the certain specific things that each player needs to address before the season. Okay, so we have certain stretches and we have certain strengthening maneuvers that we put together. The first one is going to be called the piriformis stretch, and these are some common stretches that some of the players are going to need. So this is number one. John, what you're going to do first is you're going to bend this left leg, all right? And then this is for the right piriformis. It's a muscle located within the hind end of somebody. Very important muscle group for making sure that your foot turns outward, for cutting, and for other things on the field. So we're going to hold all of our stretches for about 10 seconds and do them 10 times. But for the purpose of today, we're just going to show you it once. So John's going to take his, now this is for the right piriformis, John's going to take his right leg and put it over his left leg as if he's crossing his leg. So he's going to come over to this side. Okay, so this activates or keeps the right piriformis on a stretch. John's going to take both of his hands and he's going to grab this top leg and he's going to bring it up, in this case, up to his left shoulder. So he's aiming the top of his knee toward the left shoulder. He's going to feel the pull or the stretch right here at the base of the hip. That's where the piriformis inserts into the greater trochanter of the hip. He's going to hold for 10 seconds, and then he's going to release. And he's going to do this 10 times on each side. Depending on your ailment or your problem, it may just be one side that you need to do, but we're just demonstrating on the right side.
And so the second one would be like that.
Mm-hmm. So here's the second stretch. Good. Okay, so the second stretch that we're going to do is for the low back and also for the glute max. Once again, two prominent muscle groups that need stretched with some players. What we're going to do here is John's actually going to bring both of his knees to his chest. He's going to grab on with both hands. Okay? He's going to pull those knees to his chest and hold it for 10 seconds. Okay? 10 seconds go by, and then he's going to perform this once again 10 times. When you're at 10 seconds, you can bring your legs all the way down, or you can just go to arm's length with them and then come back. Sometimes, depending on a player's physique, it may just be one versus the other. Right now, John's demonstrating both. Okay. All right, the next one that we're going to do is for the intrinsics of the hip. You can do this one a different couple of ways. We'll call this one internal rotator stretch. I guess that would be a good thing to call it, because that's what it is. What John's going to be doing on this one is he's going to take this leg and he's going to put it on top of this knee. Then he's going to take his top arm here and he's just going to push down against this.
Right hand.
Okay. What did I say, right knee?
Push down or towards the door.
push down. Now you can also, he's going to be pushing this toward the door, he can also take his left hand and put it underneath this leg and pull this left side and push the right side. All right. So basically he's lengthening the internal rotators of the hip, holding for 10 seconds, and then releasing.
Then just relax. And
Mm-hmm. Okay, I have John in the position of the next one, which is another hip stretch. Basically, John has his leg up on something. It doesn't have to be a mat that is this high. It can be something like a stool. It can be this low. Okay, but basically the knees turned inward. The foot is up on the bed here. If you don't have that, you can put it on a stool and do the same thing. So basically, he's in this position. What he's going to be doing is he's going to be turning his body this way as if he's going to go to tie his shoe over on the side. And that's the actual stretch. So he'll feel this pulling on the outside of his hip. He'll hold for 10 seconds. And then he can bring his body back around to relax. Then he'll come back for 10 seconds. If it was 10 seconds that we're demonstrating. And once again, he's feeling this rotation at the hip. This next one's a calf stretch. John's demonstrating again. His right calf is the one that's being stretched. Now, it's really important to have your foot completely in line so the heel and the toe are pointing toward the wall. Now, you see a lot of pictures of people putting their full force of their body toward the wall. In this case, what I'm going to have John do is I'm going to have him come up off the wall. Okay, so don't lean toward the wall, John. And then put your hands on your hips for me. All right, so you don't actually need a wall to do this. John's just going to come forward, pressing his hips forward. Okay, so this back leg stays straight, and then his actual hips are coming forward. And you'll feel that start to pull on the back of the calf here. All right.
So you could do that in the field if you have a wall.
You do it in the field. It's actually, instead of putting the pressure on your arms, you actually have it on the calf where it belongs. Just make sure that the knee stays straight on the right side. This one, we're actually going to do for 30 seconds. This one's a little bit harder to get. So 30 seconds 5 times. Okay? And then vice versa the other way. Okay. This next one is another part of the calf, which is called the soleus. And this is a stretch. John's demonstrating this. What you're going to do is you're going to keep this, and this is for his left leg, you're going to keep this left knee bent. And then what you're going to try and achieve is John's actually almost sitting on his heel. So that the cue is the knee bent, and you're leaning back and sitting on your heel. And you'll feel this once again in the bottom of the Achilles tendon. And he's holding once again. We'll keep it 30 seconds 5 times and go with that. Okay, this one is a quarter squat on the wall. Here we're now into some strengthening. So we want to strengthen our glutes, our quads, and even our calves. So this is really a whole lower body workout or a strengthening exercise. A ball is behind me. It doesn't matter what size of a ball it is. I'm just completely leaning against the wall. If you would hit the ball out, I would fall backwards. So any ball will do. It doesn't matter what it is. You'll have about shoulder distance out in front of you, shoulder distance wide of your feet. And what you're going to do is you're going to keep your arms across your chest. You're going to slowly come down until your thigh is parallel to the ground. And you're just going to come on back up. This can be advanced with weights in your hand as you come down, and then pushing yourself up. 3 sets of 15 would be great, depending on if you're one of the people who needs this. There's actually a series of strengthening exercises that can be done with a TheraBand that I'll have some of the players do. The first one is for the iliopsoas, which is a muscle in the hip that is really important for bringing the hip up, acceleration, and actually deceleration. So I have a TheraBand that's tied to any type of post. I'm going to face away from the TheraBand. And some of the students with some weak hip flexors, that's sort of what we're after. you can do this a couple different ways. The first way that I showed some of the Imani players is with the leg locked, coming straight up in front of them. Okay, so it's almost like you're kicking the ball, right? Coming up slowly, holding for a second or two, coming back down. All right. The second way is with the knee bent. It can also be an explosive exercise where you're bringing it straight up. All right. This might be important for any type of running back, any type of receiver, a halfback, this kind of stuff. So that's hip flexion. All right. I'm going to turn to get the gluteus medius, which is also weak in some players. I'm going to take a quarter turn, and I'm actually going to bring this side out into the back of the room. So I'm at a little bit of an angle. So this is hip abduction out to the side, focusing in on the glute medius, which lives here. If you're feeling it in the front, you don't want to feel it in the front of the thigh. You want this right here. All right. We already did the iliopsoas muscle. We don't need to do that again. So that's number 2. Okay. Number 3, I'm just going to take a quarter step. Number 3 is for your glute max. And what you're going to do on this one is keeping the leg locked, you're going to kick backwards. Slow and controlled. We have about 20 degrees of extension that we can get to. And you're feeling this in the glute max. Okay. Last exercise is for the adductor group, which is your groin. All right. And what you're going to do is you're just going to take a step out and cross your leg with it. All right. Once again, all of these are 3 sets of 15, and I like to term these the box exercises, because if you're weak in all these areas, you can rotate in the box and do all of them. So here's my first one, the glute max, quarter turn, hip adduction for the groin. Okay. Iliopsoas is straight up front hip flexors. Okay. And then glute medius is out to the side. So a lot of good hip exercises all together. For your calves, once again, and what we're gonna do here are calf raises. Basically, you're gonna come up onto your toes with your legs straight. So knees are straight, hips are straight, coming up onto your toes, holding for a second or two, coming back down. Okay, 3 sets of 15 will be great. All right. Last one is for the soleus. So soleus strengthening, very important. This time we're going to come up onto our toes with the knees bent. Okay, so knees are bent, and we're going to come up on our toes, hold for a second, come down. Okay, if you have trouble balancing, you can hold on to something. That's perfectly okay. You want to progress to not touching anything coming up. 3 sets of 15 will do.